So imagine this. It's 2026. It's sunny out. You're with your friends. You're going to the lake. You're going out on a boat, or you're just at the pool, and you're going to have a fun weekend with friends or family. Um, and you go to the grocery store to get supplies, and go to the aisle because, of course, you're going to have some burgers, hot dogs, brats, whatever. And everybody needs what? Ketchup. So you go to the condiment aisle and no ketchup. Wow. Okay, so the grocery store is out of that one. Must be a big busy weekend. So then you go to the next grocery store. No ketchup. You go to the gas station. No ketchup. I like ketchup. I'm sure a lot of you like ketchup. I know a couple people who detest it, but the less said about that, the better. But we are a ketchupless nation. There's no ketchup to be found. Sound implausible? Well, maybe not. Because what's going on with farms and the crops and everything else, there's bad things happening, and not many people are talking about it. One, the first thing is, of course, farm bankruptcies. They're soaring. This has been going on all this year. Two, immigration policy. Our crops are not picked by, well, let's face it, we bring laborers in from other countries in order to pick our crops. That's just how it is. Most of it is done that way. And right now, with our immigration policy, those people aren't showing up. Those people are not coming to do the labor that we have traditionally brought them in for. And so what does that mean? Well, it means that crops don't get picked, food doesn't get to the table, food doesn't hit store shelves, and suddenly we are without ketchup. And we'll just break this down step by step. Let's start with the farm bankruptcies. Let's take a look at this video.
Told us that essentially it's getting a lot more expensive for family farmers to make their products, and that is forcing a growing number of these farmers to now file for bankruptcy. The University of Arkansas released data this month which claims that from April of last year to this March, more than 250 farms have filed for Chapter 12 farm bankruptcy. University economists say bankruptcy filings in the first quarter of this year alone have already exceeded last year's. Those same economists are right now facing what they described as a financial pressure cooker, with prices for things like seed and fertilizer staying relatively high. Other analysts suggest high interest rates are also playing into farmers' difficulties right now.
So a lot of these loans that were these operating loans are that might have been financed in the 3, 4, or 5% are now getting financed in the 7 to 9% interest rates. Then you have an increase in overall input costs, and combine that with lower commodity prices. It just results in farmers having no other option but to seek a Chapter 12 bankruptcy filing to continue their operation.
We've also heard from some farmers across the country who've said the recent uptick in ICE raids at farms and food plants, like this one in Nebraska just last month, have made it even harder for them to find employees, overall making it more difficult for them to keep their doors open. Those changes, coupled with higher expenses and concerns about the current trade environment, mean some family farmers are hurting and, as we said, are really forced to turn to bankruptcy.
Yeah, so farms going bankrupt, which means there's fewer crops being planted. That's been occurring all year, since January, February, really. February, March, April. Farm bankruptcies have been soaring. So what does that mean? Well, let's just take a look at our esteemed president and what he said in the past month. Okay, here he is 1 month ago. Trump says he won't hurt farmers with deportations. They keep us happy and healthy and fat. Okay, great. My ketchup future is secured. I feel very good about this so far. Do you guys feel good about this? I feel good about this. All right. This was 3 weeks ago. I was visiting Alligator Alcatraz. So a nice facility. Trump spoke about helping farmers and farm workers while touring Alligator Alcatraz. Okay, great. He's laser focused on this. Again, everybody feeling good now? I'm feeling much better. I mean, despite all the farm bankruptcies and everything else, we're good. We got our top people on it. This is great. Here he was about a week and a half ago. Oh, even better. Trump says migrants working on farms could get passed from deportation. You know what? I feel much better now. I really do. I feel great. So that being said, I mean, he's the president. I'm sure his Secretary of Agriculture is on it, and she's laser focused on making sure that these deportations and everything else are staying away from the farm industry, and that we'll have an ample food supply going forward, because that would be really bad, right? I mean, prior to some of these statements, 70%, I mean, there were ICE raids all over farms, processing facilities. So the Secretary of Agriculture, having heard the president say this, I'm sure she will put everything to bed. She's going to make us all feel better. So she made some comments about 6-7 days ago. Let's just listen. Let's take a look. Play the clip.
The first thing I'll say is the president has been unequivocal that there will be no amnesty. And I think that's very, very important. I and the rest of our cabinet certainly support that, effectuate that, and make sure that happens every single day. The second thing, to your question about mass deportations, the president and I have spoken about that once or twice, and he has always been of the mindset that at the end of the day, the promise to America to ensure that we have a 100% American workforce stands, but we must be strategic in how we are implementing the mass deportation so as not to compromise our food supply. Ultimately, the answer on this is automation, also some reform within the current governing structure. And then also, when you think about, there are 34 million able-bodied adults in our Medicaid program. There are plenty of workers in America, but we just have to make sure we're not compromising today, especially in the context of everything we're thinking about right now. So no amnesty under any circumstances. Mass deportations continue, but in a strategic and intentional way as we move our workforce toward more automation and toward a 100% American workforce.
Oh. Okay. So, yeah, I'm suddenly feeling less comfortable. Everyone else with me? You guys good? I feel like my ketchup is in danger, just off the top of my head. Because from what I heard from her is that there will be no amnesty, that Trump was a...
He's lying! You lie! Liar!
Lies. Oh, lies!
Are you calling me a liar?
You sit on a throne of lies. That's a lie.
Liar!
That's right, a liar. And that essentially any of us that are out of work, sort of like in the 1930s, we should all head to California and start picking vegetables. That's what I heard. Is that what you heard? Because that's what I heard. And it's very reminiscent of Grapes of Wrath.
What's it say again, Uncle John?
It says, plenty of work in California. 800 pickers wanted.
Wait till I get to California.
Sound familiar? Do we all get in our Ford Model T trucks and start heading to Texas and California and Pennsylvania to, pick that lettuce? Because that's certainly what it sounds like from her. Did anybody else get that vibe? I got that vibe. Like, basically, hey, everybody, let's all chip in here. Let's all head to the farm fields. Yeah, this isn't great. And I guess the best way is to listen to an actual farmer that has to talk about it. And I happen to like, in addition to ketchup, on my burgers. I mean, when you're done with that, you want, a dessert, a sundae with a cherry on top. What's more American than that, right? Everybody like a cherry on top of their sundae? I do. Well, let's hear from a cherry farmer. Certainly that's not impacted. I mean, they're cherries. I mean, I wouldn't even know that cherry picking requires massive amounts of migrant labor that would be in danger from ice. So let's hear from a cherry farmer.
Fears over ice raids. They're now reaching local fruit farms. Some farmers tell us that some of their workers are afraid to come to work.
And that means fruit is being left hanging on trees. Fox 12's Carly Olson joins us now from one of those farms to tell us more. Carly?
I'm here in the Dalles at CE Farm Management, and owner Ian Chandler tells me that they had to start off their harvest with about 50% of the workforce that they normally have. And because of that, this year's cherry harvest, as well as the future of their farm, is in jeopardy.
What we have here is we have cherries. These are bings.
Branches heavy with cherries.
But you have to pick them at a certain sugar level.
Tons and tons, destined to shrivel on the vine.
So like this fruit is not going to be able to be harvested because it's too far gone.
That's because on day one of the harvest, about half of their 120-person workforce wasn't there.
Our harvest workforce is primarily immigrants. I would say the majority are from Mexico originally. And they are skilled workers who come up every single year. A lot of people have a lot of fear based on their ethnicity, which is an unfortunate thing.
Chandler says the fear over ice raids isn't just present at his farm, but across many farms like his. For him, it means an unprecedented loss.
So we are in a situation where we're going to have to leave probably 300 to 400 tons of fruit on the tree. It's going to be devastating.
He and his wife are even looking for second jobs to make up for the loss. But on top of those fears, Chandler's wife is from Mexico, and the knowledge that people who look like her and his children don't feel welcome hits close to home.
We've got regular people out here who are helping us out. They're not criminals. They're not bad people. They're just like you and I. They're just trying to make a living. They're, taking care of their families. And for them to be in this country and in fear, that doesn't feel very good.
Chandler tells me they'll have to cut back on certain things over the next year in order to make ends meet. But if this happens again next year, he has no idea whether their farm can continue. Reporting in the Dalles, Carly Olson, Fox 12 Oregon.
Oh, that's not good at all. That's really bad. Okay, so now our ketchup is in danger. Our cherries are in danger. Yeah, folks, this isn't good. This isn't good at all. Now, I have kind of looked at this. Obviously, I'm not just there's data behind this. Before we do that, remember to please do that. Hit like and subscribe, because this takes some effort. And please drop in comments or anything else, any questions you might have. Be happy to answer them. I do come from a farm family. I've talked to some farm relatives about this issue, and of course it's mainly corn, which can be stored. Nobody would want to eat it after it's been stored, but it can be stored. So just some data behind this. Let's take a look at just some data from Newsweek. Here's the here's Newsweek. Ice raids on U.S. farms leaves crop rotting. Immigration enforcement operations on farms left crops rotting, and farm operations disrupted in major agricultural states, including California, Texas, Pennsylvania. It's not just those three. All right. It is now expanded to almost everywhere. Farm owners and industry representatives report that up to 70% of workers stopped reporting to work following ICE actions, resulting in significant crop losses and financial strain. So now this is recent. We're not even talking several months back, people, when farm bankruptcies are soaring. This is current. What's going to happen going forward? How many farms are we going to have left after this? And it's not just that, it's the meat packing and processing in facilities that they're going into. So I'm sure you've noticed in the last 3 weeks or so that the price of ground beef has gone through the roof. Pork is headed that way. Let's not even get into eggs. Yeah, we all know about the eggs, the infamous egg election. Is everybody feeling good? I mean, I'm not feeling good at all. I'm terrified. And my normal reaction to being terrified is I start looking at it and seeing what's actually going on. Now, in general, in this country, when we have drought, food shortages, crop loss, everything else, we make it up through imports. Our primary importation partners are Mexico, Canada, and Brazil. Well, guess who just got massive tariffs levied on them? Brazil is at 50%. Mexico, 17% special tariff on tomatoes, possibly 25% on other agricultural products, depending on what the courts determine are allowed. Canada, what is it, 25% on everything? That's in addition to the steel and aluminum, now copper tariffs. So what does that all mean? Is anybody seeing the trend here? That this is stuff we're not even talking about. This is inflation that the Fed isn't talking about. This is inflation that, why? Because a lot of agricultural and foodstuffs don't even hit the consumer price index. So it's not even tracked for inflation, but it's something that we do every day. We eat every day. We buy every day. In fact, when you look at things other than gas to get to work, food is probably what we spend most of our money on, and housing. What does this all mean? Well, let's take a look. Just honestly, you can do this yourselves. Just plug in the relevant data to the AI of your choice to kind of get some. We know they're not like 100% accurate or anything else, but just to give you a general idea of what are we looking at. So I did that, and I'm gonna be honest with everyone, it's not good. There it is, right there. And again, you can plug this into the AI of your choice. Severe food inflation already happening. Food shortages. Perishable items rot in fields, no replacement possible. You already heard from the cherry farmer, stuff is rotting. Can't pick it. Food inflation, 70 to 100%. It's all here. So we have a few months to reverse this trend, to bring in migrant workers to get to the second or third crop rotation. Because this is not like goods from China. This is not like goods from Vietnam or anything else. Those tariffs were bad enough. This is stuff that has to be grown. We can't just my bad and have it shipped. That's not an option. It has to be grown. And if we don't do it soon enough and reverse course fast enough, this is going to be our reality through 2026. Because the farms are going to be bankrupt. The growing season is over. And we're going to have to depend on the kindness, and I do say kindness, of countries that we just slap tariffs on. Does anybody see that happening? Do you see that happening? I don't. So just this past weekend, there was a general labor strike of farm workers, which is rightly so. With what's going on, they have every right to do so. But it's only going to exacerbate the problem with no solution in sight. Epstein, of course, is very important. We should be talking about that. But here's this big ticking time bomb waiting out there that nobody's tracking, nobody's really talking about, because it's not Epstein, it's not Obama, it's not Trump trying to distract from the Epstein files. These are things that basically their solution is, well, you know what? When the economy collapses and you're out of work, just like in the Depression era, leave the Dust Bowl in your Ford Model T truck and head to California and you can pick them. That's not a solution I signed up for. That's not a solution I don't think any of us signed up for. So again, thanks for watching. Thanks for staying this long. I'll probably talk more about the subject very quickly. Please hit like and subscribe, and hang in there. It's gonna get wild.